guys, how's it going? Today we are planting up these 4 containers right here with 4 different plant combinations, 3 for full sun, 1 for shade, and these are all brand new pots in the Aquapot line that are coming out, I think, in 2024. So we're able to put them to the test this year, and I can report back to you guys with how it goes. So basically, resin containers, they're called Aquapot Lite. The original Aquapots are ceramic. So there's a lot of different styles, a lot of different colors, and they're heavy, which I think is good in some aspects, you know, for high wind areas. They also kind of look elevated style-wise, but they're also extremely heavy, and they makes them more expensive, harder to ship, that sort of thing. So having a lightweight option, I think, is always a good idea. And my particular favorites, I like this one a lot. This square one. I think it looks clean and like with a topiary in there. I don't have a topiary on hand, so that's not what we're putting in here, but I really like the lines of this one. And I'm always a sucker for a basket weave container like this. I like it. So they did come with plugs. Let me show you. So the whole point of this, you guys, is just to show you how it works for me, since I've never tried it. So the pots themselves come with these little plugs. So I think you could maybe make them like a water garden if you wanted to. You know, you could stick your plug in there. If you wanted to do a true water garden, I would think you'd have to silicone around that just to make sure that it's... Anyway, the point is you can put a plug in if you want. I took them all out for this experiment. And then this is what the self-watering insert looks like. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that they are selling this insert by itself as well. So you could essentially get the self-watering part of the pots and put them in your own containers that you already have. And I'm not sure there's anything like that out on the market as of yet. So it'll be interesting to see how this works, because this does hold 3 gallons of water. And we're gonna just see how long they last in a sunny area here and in a shady area. So let me show you the inside of this. There's your reservoir, super fancy. And then this thing right here, you know, the roots, the soil goes down in here, the roots soak in, or the soil and the roots soak in the water and wick up the soil and feed the plant. And this right here is your spout. It's a telescoping spout, like that. This comes up out of the pot like this, so you can put your water, your hose right down in there and fill up the reservoir. So that's how it works. Now in the square one, there's a little platform. I'm not sure that this one might be available by itself, or this might just be custom to the square pot that they sell. I'm not sure, but that just holds your whole round self-watering insert up in a nice way. Now, one of my experiences with other self-watering containers in the past is that you can't clean them. They're like a fully encased, like one unit, like the pot and the self-watering reservoir are all one, and there's no way to get down in that reservoir and clean them out. And if you're planting things like any type of ornamental grass, purple fountain grass, the tut grasses are the worst for this because they're a water grass, they love water. They will plug up any hole that you have that allows water to go up into the soil. And if you can't get in there and clean them out, then it makes them kind of not useful, you know, going forward. So I do like that you can get into these reservoirs, you can give them a good scrub, and then you can start off clean the next year. And well, you probably couldn't do it mid-season. I was gonna say you could honestly get in there mid-season. I mean, if you really wanted to, I suppose you could do anything, but I probably wouldn't do that. So they do have the regular Aquapots, which we have showed you before. I don't have extensive experience with those either. I've planted them up maybe a couple of different times, but they are ceramic. Makes them quite a bit heavier, so it is nice that they're offering a lighter weight option, because I think there's pros and cons to both. Honestly, when you've got the heavier things, typically it's like, I don't know, it's a little bit elevated style-wise in my mind when you've got like the real concrete, the real ceramic, and they just are stately, I guess. But it makes them very much more expensive to produce and ship, and heavier for you to move around, that sort of thing. So having something that, like today, we're gonna pot them right here, and then Aaron and I will easily be able to lift them in and move them to where they're gonna go. But we've got some gorgeous plants. This is what I'm most excited about right here. I wanna plant up the shade one with all foliage right here. It's gonna be so pretty. And then we've got some really beautiful things for 2024. These are all new ones: Supertunia Bermuda Beach, the Coconut Improved Nemesia, and then a Cherry Burst Superbena. Then I wanna do a couple containers really focused on super bells, because with a self-watering situation, I feel like we might be better off because they can utilize what they need instead of having us give them, you know, too much water. I think that's why I typically don't do well with super bells. I overlove them. So we've got the Super Bells. Is this Great Punch, I think? Yeah, these, oh my gosh. One plant already looking amazing. And then we've got a new one called Double Vintage Coral, which I want to love this plant so much, but I want it to have flowers like this. Like I want it to have more. So we're gonna see what it does. We're gonna plant these up in the normal fashion, soil and our slow release fertilizer. So let me get this first one maybe. Let's load this smaller one up. You can see how much soil reservoir there's actually left in here. I guess it'll be different for every single one. But let me do this. Now, I wonder if I should pre-moisten this. Erin, you have thoughts on that? I know with other self-watering containers, they say to pre-moisten, and that helps with the initial wick.
I think as long as you just watered in really well in the beginning, like really well, I think you can plant first if you want to.
Okay, well, either way, I don't mind pre-moistening, except for it's gonna make it heavier on us to move them.
Yeah, let's moisten it afterward.
Okay. Now, this right here at the moment looks like it's perched, but eventually you won't even see it. I mean, you could place it toward the back of where you're placing your container, then the plants will grow up and kind of cover it anyway. So these, though, they telescope, and I wonder, like, could I leave it like that? I don't know if you would necessarily want to leave it short, though, because I want to be able to find that thing, you know, when I get around to watering it, so I'm going to leave it long. Okay, I do like to fill my containers up quite a lot with soil because I do not like to add soil after I'm done planting. I'd rather have to remove a little bit. Here's our slow release plant food right here. A little sprinkle.
You know, they actually recommend that you put some in the spout.
Some of this?
Yeah.
Oh, now it's heat activated. I don't know how that would work. Do you know how much?
Yeah, that's good.
The whole bottle. We'll have the biggest pots in all the land, the biggest plants. Okay, I'll mix that in. Which one should we plant up in this small one? Let's see, it's a cream colored pot. So maybe, I think I'm gonna do the meteor shower in the tallest one. This is gonna be an experiment because the Nemesia typically, like my experience before, is that they kind of peter out in the heat. But I grew some of this last year. It wasn't the coconut, it was the mulberry, Aromax mulberry, I think. And it did great. So I'm gonna put these three together in here. We'll see how things go. I think this is a really pretty blend though. Really bright and cheerful. Roots do not need to be disturbed in this. They look really good. So what I do is I just kind of scoot the soil out like that, pop my root in, boom. That's why I like to put quite a bit of soil in because it usually just makes planting so much easier. Okay, next one, root system looks really good. Again, just scoot the soil, tuck it in. And then this one, these are all in the new Aquapots right here. Look at that.
Eco Grande Plus.
Eco Grande
Or is
Plus.
it Eco Plus Grande? I think it's Eco Plus Grande.
Eco Plus Grande.
Yeah.
Zero
Gotta add a plus. Next year they'll come out with the Pro model.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
And then the Ultra.
Get it on the plant
Okay.
Erin, here. Okay, right there. It's funny, this one right here, I'm noticing because I've got a flat of these. The newer blossoms look more like red and white peppermint candy kind of striped. And then as they age, they kind of take on more of a pink, like a pink and white stripe. So, I don't know. It's really pretty.
You know, I wonder if they could come out with different colors of caps to fit the color of like arrangement that you're
yeah, because
doing.
these just, you guys, these just screw off. That's how you get them through the insert.
But if it were to fall, you wouldn't want it to fall, like if it telescoped down, you wouldn't want it to telescope below the soil level.
No,
So
I
having
mean,
the
but
cap on is
you
good.
could do different color caps,
Yeah.
those, like you said. I mean, blue is pretty
Benign.
Yeah, I would think like a blue or like a green, but blue goes with everything, it seems like. So that'll be a fun one right there. I brought over way too many of those plants. I didn't need 3 of each. Okay, next one is our shade one right here. So in this pot right here, I think I used a little over 1 cubic foot of soil. I had to open a second bag, but I didn't use very much of it, right?
Your first bag was a half bag.
Oh, okay, well then I have no idea. Probably 1 cubic foot total. Make sure the soil's tucked into all the corners. I think that plane's doing practice runs this morning. Our fertilizer. Okay, we got three of the Color Blaze Coleus, like so. And then I'm going to have this backed up against a wall. So I want some trailers out the front and sides. This one right here is Wicked Witch. And in fact, I'm gonna kind of tuck it a little bit further back since I'm gonna be backing this up. It'll be kind of more of a bouquet coming forward. This one is El Brido, which I've noticed in a shadier location, it has more coral in it. And when it's in more sun, which these can take sun, they just need more water in that instance, but it looks more red in more sun. And then we've got Golden Dreams. We've had this get massive. When we had our gazebo still, I planted this in front with the Carding Mill roses. It was such a beautiful combination. I'll try to scrounge up a picture of that, but these got huge. Then we've got a Sweet Caroline, a light green sweet potato vine. It's already going for it, so I am gonna rough these roots a bit. Tuck that in right in the front. Give the root ball just a little bit of a tip. Doesn't have to go straight up and down. That way you face more of the leaves forward. And we'll do a Dichondra Silver Falls. And another Dichondra toward the back. Then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I think I actually need to add more soil. Sorry, Cheddar, just freaked him out. Oh, I hate adding soil afterward. It's the worst. Oh, it's so pretty. I want to see that one from the front. Oh yeah. Let those coleus grow up and everything fill in. That's going to be so pretty. Okay, now in this one, so there is going to be some soil that goes around the reservoir, especially in this one because this one's wider. You can see this is a 22-inch diameter, just so you know. This one is wet, this bag. Okay, in that one, I think I'm gonna do the Juncus. This is the Graceful Grasses Blue Mohawk. The thing I like about this grass, which I really only experienced it last year, is that it brings vertical interest, but it's not so bold like a vertigo or a purple fountain grass. It's just kind of more of an accent vertical interest rather than kind of taking center stage. This one, I'm gonna rough the roots a bit. There we go. And then we're just gonna surround the whole thing with the vintage coral super bells. Because I don't know exactly how these are gonna perform, I'm gonna use maybe 5 instead of 3. Or maybe 6 because that's what I have left in my flat. It's a really soft, pretty look. I think that pink color with the blue and the grass is really nice.
You know, I've noticed that super bells seem to have a tendency to show chlorosis a little bit like sooner than other plants.
Yeah.
I wonder if we poured a little bit of chelated iron in the hole.
Well, I do know that we use the water soluble from Proven Winners, which does have the EDDHA. Maybe it's not quite enough for super bells. I'm not sure, but I think I have some. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, I do. I have a bag. This is what we use right here. There's this brand and there's also Grow More brand, but it's the EDDHA. It's not cheap, but it stretches quite far. You don't have to use very much. Oh, I didn't put slow release in here.
Shit.
Okay, well, I've got to do that too. Is it coming out?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me when. Just the whole bag.
That's good.
Okay, I'm going to put some in the soil too. Okay. Those should be the greenest super bells ever. One well-fed pot already. For our centerpiece, I'm going to use 3 of the Meteor Shower Verbena. I want it to be bulky and striking, and because this pot's already tall, so I want the centerpiece to be a little taller. Look at the root system on these. Like, that's intense. Oh, I want these to do really well. They are so pretty. Whoa. That's awesome. All right, guys, got it all cleared out so that we can load these up and take them to where they're going to stay for the rest of the season. Shade container went right here alongside our house. I think it's going to work out well because I'm going to want to be pretty hands-on with these, just checking them all the time. You're supposed to be able to get maybe up to a week without having to fill the water reservoir, and I just, you know, it's untested here for me, so I don't know if we're going to be able to stretch it that far. I remember with our larger reservoir self-watering containers, we had to fill them about every 5 to 7 days during the heat of the summer, so we might have to do a little more. Probably not in a shaded area, but this way, we're already hand checking all of these containers because none of them are on drip. So it'll just be kind of one of the many that we test. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. I think the one thing with self-watering containers that they need to perfect and or add to every container is some kind of water level indicator. And I know that one type that we've tried had it, but they malfunctioned very easily. And I guess it's just a really hard thing to do, but I can't wait till they at some point figure that out because it's hard to tell, especially with the ceramic ones, how much water is in it because the pot just feels heavy no matter if there's water in it or not. So I think one of the benefits of the more lightweight ones is oftentimes you can tell based on heft, based on weight, if there's water in that container. Like right now, I can tell there's not water in it because it feels fairly light, and you kind of get to know your container and how heavy it should feel, and then you can add more water at that point. But this will, you know, if it overflows, it will drain out the bottom just like any other container, so it won't hurt the plants if you have too much in there or you can't get too much in there. That makes sense. Anyway, let's go place the full sun ones. Just kidding, I'm going to water this one in first. So I'm going to start by watering in all the plants. That's important. Even with the self-watering container, you want to water from the top, settle all that soil in around the root balls. And it might be something, on especially the bigger pots, that you want to do a little bit until the plants root in. So plan on maybe watering it from the top a few times, and then you can let that self-watering kick in. Okay, I think it'll be easier to fill the reservoir if I take the diffuser off the end. See that? Yeah. See, now we just have to kind of guess. That's my one thing. We need a water level indicator, or even like a float that will come up somewhere and float up when it's full. That would be so helpful because otherwise you're just kind of like blindly filling it up. So that's my one beef with any self-watering container out there, really. Okay, now we're gonna go place the sun containers. All right, guys, we've got them set, watered in. They're good to go out here. Now you can see we're near our orchard and flower shed. This is going to be our sort of experimental area where we can line things up and really control what they get. You know, like the green stock garden that we have out here. We've got 2 in our greenhouse, but it's a very protected, kind of coddled environment for plants. So we wanted to toss one out here, give it full wind, full sun all day long, and see how it holds up. So far, really great, but we want the same thing for all of these to see how long we go between watering when they get sun all day long, when they get wind, which we live in a fairly windy area, so it'll be interesting. We'll put a picture up on the screen with all the different types that I planted up today, including the one near the house with what the style name is for each one of these. So anyway, guys, that is it. We're going to be reporting back to you throughout the season how these are performing for us. Everybody say a prayer for the Super Bells. Hopefully those do really well. Maybe it wasn't fair of me to put Super Bells in these containers with my history with them. Or maybe it'll be the best thing ever. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.